Thank you, Dr. Marie. Thank you all for being here, too. Thank you.
Oh. Yay.
I think you're good to go.
So this next item is aligned with our priorities 1, 3, and 5 of our strategic plan. And we are excited this evening to celebrate one of our exceptional children's program educators tonight, who was recently recognized as the EC Educator of Excellence. This recognition was given during the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction at the 2024 State Conference. Ms. Sarah Self-Maddox, our EC Director, will tell you a little bit more about this individual and his work here in Chatham.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I'm excited to introduce Mr. Ben Hopkins from Moncure School. He is a longtime EC teacher here in Chatham County, and he not only supports our EC students, but the total school community. If you go to Moncure, it may be his planning period, but he's likely still with students. What we especially appreciate about him is his ability to consistently deliver instruction with fidelity to help support us at the district level with fine-tuning our own instruments, and he's currently working with us on a progress monitoring tool for looking at student data to see how we can best support their growth. So, Mr. Ben Hopkins.
Things you do for us.
Congratulations. That's all you did.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and Superintendent Jackson. I'm Chris Pouston, Senior Executive Director of Excellence and Opportunity. Tonight, we recognize Mr. Michael Triplett as our Excellence and Opportunity Champion. Mr. Triplett. Our Excellence and Opportunity Champion aligns with our strategic plan, Priority 1, Curriculum and Innovation, and our strategic plan, Priority 3, Faculty and Staff. Mr. Triplett each day works to reduce the predictability of who succeeds and who fails. He works into work practices that negatively impact a diverse student population, and he works to cultivate the unique gifts and talents of every student in our school system. His nominee wrote, Mr. Triplett exemplifies what it means to be a champion of opportunity for all students. At both the school and the district level, he tirelessly advocates to ensure every student has access to high quality education and resources. Even more impactful, he models self-reflection and personal growth, openly embracing vulnerability as a powerful tool to inspire and empower his colleagues. I've had the opportunity to work with Michael for many years. He has worked so hard to improve so many systems in our school system. He has worked to support teachers and students and provide summer opportunities for all students, and we just really appreciate the work you do every day. Thank you, Mr. Triplett.
You got to run the gauntlet.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you.
This next item is aligned with Priority 2, Student Health and Safety, as well as Priority 5, Communication and Information Sharing. As reflected in our Chatham County Schools Code of Civility, we invite students, staff, and our community stakeholders to submit student names for our categories of Champions of Character Words of the Month. You can see on the document when it's pulled up that we have a different word each month that we ask that our schools embody, and anyone can nominate one of our students. We select one per month. Our first recipient for October is Avram Smith, a sixth grader at J.S. Waters School. His nomination included the following quote: "Avram consistently comes to school prepared for class and ready to learn. He models for other students how to take ownership of his education, his actions and goals by setting priorities and fulfilling commitments. We love how Avram is always dependable, punctual, and often goes beyond what is expected." Okay. Our next one is Miss Alice Laurie, an eighth grader from Margaret B. Pollard Middle School, who was selected as our November Champions of Character. And while she's coming up, her nomination reads, "Alice is an exemplary, kind, and responsible student. When she sees a need in our community, she addresses it. Alice helped start a school cleanliness club at Pollard. She takes the initiative with her classwork and looks out for the needs of other classmates as well. She doesn't ever have to be told what to do. She just does it. She looks for the odd man out and brings them into the fold for our classroom. If a student was out for a while, she's the kind of student that would make sure they got all caught up on their missing assignments. She's a joy to teach and is very deserving of the award and many more." So we have Alice.
That's the kind of child I was.
Our next item is our Power of One award, and our recipient for November is Coach Barry West, who is the athletic director at Jordan Matthews High School. He was not able to be here, I believe, because of a
Oh,
conflict.
he's right beside you.
You're
He
here.
sneaked in.
How's it coming? Perfect. Well, I'll read it since you're here. His nomination reads, "Coach West has been the athletic director at Jordan Matthews for just over a year. Under his leadership, our athletic program is flourishing. He cares deeply about our Jets and goes above and beyond to ensure our athletic program reflects the very best opportunities for them. Barry has expanded our athletic offerings by bringing JV soccer team and offering the first men's volleyball program in the district. He worked with students to establish a student athletic advisory committee, providing additional leadership opportunities, upgraded our athletic facilities, and built a community amongst our coaching staff. There is so much more that I could say about Coach West, but if you spend just a few minutes with him, you'd know that blue and gold runs deep for him."
Put a gold halo on you. Doing gold.
Congratulations, Barry. Thank you.
They did get you.
Our Power of One award winner for October was Miss Angie Hagee, Transportation Support. Miss Hagee's nomination reads, "Angie works tirelessly to ensure our kids with transportation needs have timely and appropriate rides to and from school each day. She patiently answers a multitude of questions, collaborates with contract transportation, follows up with schools, and all of that with a consistent positive outlook on everything. She and I have spoken more so far this year than the last two combined, and she is always able to help me or direct me to the person who can help. Because of her work, every EC student with special transportation gets to school at the right time each morning and are returned safely home in the afternoon. Without Angie, this would not be the case." Congratulations.
And you have to work with her, right? Yeah, okay. Congratulations.
Me too.
Angie, congratulations. We're good. I know our board enjoys that part of the meeting as much as any of it. The smiles we get from our students and staff is wonderful.
And parents.
And parents, thank you. That's correct. We'll move to our next item, public comments. Remember, you have 3 minutes. You'll come to the podium here and present. And we only have one signed up, Brandy Varner. Come on up.
All right. Hello, board and everyone. Hi. So I'm here representing CCAE, the Chatham County Association of Educators, and I just want to start by thanking again the board and Dr. Jackson and the admin and the county commissioners who aren't here, but they can watch us online. Just thank you for the open and honest relationship and the open communication that's existed between us to this point. And I know I speak for myself and all of our members that we look forward to continuing that and discussing things with you as we move forward this year. So being as budget season is upon us, I'm here to just present CCAE's advocacy agenda for the year. So this year we are asking our board and our administration to prioritize some budget concerns that are deeply felt by staff across our county. We would like to encourage you to look into an incentive pay of $2,500 a year for EC teachers and instructional assistants just to fill those crucial vacancies. It is an incredibly demanding job, and we need all the good people to stay and to come into Chatham for those kids. We'd also like to encourage an incentive pay of $1,000 a year for bilingual staff because they are that bridge between the school and many, many families. And it's really important that every school has someone who can help families access their teachers and the information for their kids. We would also like to encourage the consideration of restoring master's pay for Chatham County teachers who missed that cutoff when the state took it away several years ago. And then we also would like the board to encourage, not necessarily budgetary, but some program and policy work with our staff, working with our staff to increase transparency around budget allocation, just making that information very easy to access for staff so that we can understand it better, allowing teachers say in priorities in their PD, using their day-to-day knowledge and their expertise to really help them direct what their students need. And then having central office staff come and support when there are critical vacancies in a school, for example, the EC positions that are sometimes open this year. And then finally, honoring the right for each staff member to meet with union representatives during non-instructional time. Like I said, we have really enjoyed the open conversations we've had this year and in previous years, and we look forward to continuing those with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Jackson, just a quick question on master's pay, and I retired a while back, and so master's pay, the legislature cut off if you.
I think Mr. Blythe just cut you off.
Oh, he was getting me. He was buzzing me. Okay, I'm sorry, Mr. Blythe. I won't talk so long. Just a quick question, and might have to come to Dr. Batten. What was the year?
2013.
2013. So anybody that had their master's then had started their master's, still get master's pay from the state. Anybody after that, which is a disincentive to get you master's, I guess, or could be. Yeah, okay.
Requires it.
Okay, the job does. Okay. Thanks for the clarification. I appreciate it. I knew there was a date. I just couldn't remember when exactly. Okay, thank you for that. All right, we'll move to informational items. The North Carolina School Board Association Board Policy Manual Updates, 5,000 series, and of course, that's first reading. Dr. Moran.
So as you know, our district is working with the School Boards Association to conduct the audit of our full policy manual, and we bring a segment of these to you each month. The policy update this evening is the 5,000 series, and it has 14 policies for review. Some of these policies have just minor changes, which are footnotes or small legal reference changes or wording shifts. Some policies require a little bit larger revisions based off of legal updates, and I'll share a couple of those in a moment. And some of the policies in this series have already been updated. So on the correlation chart, if you'll pull that up, you'll notice there are a lot of items that are already marked green. Those are policies that are already up to date in our policy manual or were covered in prior sessions that we brought to you. The items that are in yellow are policies that are not included in the North Carolina Policy Manual, and the items in red are items to be repealed. Items in orange are things that the School Boards Association would recommend to be done at a later date. The vast majority of the policies this month are small changes, things again like legal footnotes, slight shifts in wording. A couple that I will bring to your attention, policy 5022, registered sex offenders. This has a broader scope and definition that is in line with statutory definitions for what a sexual offender is, and it also has a broader definition for what constitutes school grounds. Also, policy 5030, in the words of the School Boards Association, this is our trickiest policy in this bunch. And basically, the change that you'll see here is that some of the items that we had in our policy were very Chathamized. That's our official wording there. We put a lot of language in there that was specific to us, that was really more of a regulation. So what we're recommending and what the School Boards Association is recommending is that the things we put in our policy are the legal requirements, and the things that we had in our policy prior that were more procedural would go inside of a regulation. So a lot of the information will still be there, but it'll be in our regulation. The other substantive change there is that in our prior policy, we did not have it listed that political parties do have the statutory right to use school facilities for specific reasons, and youth groups that are patriotic societies such as Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts of America must be given priority for use in the school system if the school system receives funds to implement community school programs. So those two items were not in our previous policy. So those are the largest changes in this series. And emergency closings, the major change there is that it adds a specific requirement that school board members would always be required to be notified if there was an emergency closing of a school, which is in keeping with what our practices are already, but it would codify it in the policy.
He does that anyway, so.
That anyway. And 5240, advertising in the schools. The real change there is being more specific about discouraging the use of advertising during the instructional period of the school day. Other than that, I'm happy to answer any questions. Those are kind of the major shifts in this policy series.
Anyone have any questions? Go ahead, Dr. Jackson.
Mr. Chair, I just want to, I know that we bring you a lot of these each month, but I want to tell you guys you're officially halfway through. We made the commitment nearly a year ago to literally walk through every single policy, and we're about halfway through. And so I thank you all for your patience and your diligence as we've tried to do this and bring all of our policies up to date. This has been a major undertaking, and Dr. Moran and Ms. Sloan have just been dogged working with the School Boards Association to kind of keep this train moving. But I think they're even happy to hear we are officially at the halfway point right now. So thank you all.
Any questions? Okay,
Thank you.
we'll move along to action items. Mr. Blythe is already moving over there, even though he dinged me a while ago while I was speaking, I guess. You're fine, Mr. Blythe. I know. I get that at home a lot too, so it's all right. American Rescue Plan Act contract. Go ahead.
Well, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Dr. Jackson, this item aligns with goals 2 and 4 of our priorities. The county reached out to us a few months back and had some money that they had borrowed that may possibly be needing to be spent. This would allow us to move forward with the CIP project that we had scheduled already to add air conditioning to 6 of our gymnasiums. If the legislature passes something that they are in the process of looking at, if that is passed, then the funds will be available and we'll be able to use it to do that. If there are any extra funds needed to complete the projects, the county will provide that as well.
I think it's wonderful now, because, we discussed this already, so I'm gonna add to that. So that'll leave us 3 gyms that are not air conditioned.
That is
That, and we're planning, if the money comes through, we're gonna go ahead and do this right now, which is fantastic. But those 3 gyms are gonna sit there till 28, 29, if I looked at it correctly, even though we voted in 21. Does that sound right? And 3 gyms I'm talking about is Bennett, Bonley, and Silco. And so they're gonna sit there, not air conditioned, and I'm not asking to get them air conditioned for 5 years. I'm just hoping that we can figure out a way to move, because we have moved them back, I think, in the process. It was kind of one of those unfunded things, I know. And I'm just venting, Mr. Blythe, not at you. So those gyms are gonna be, and those kids are gonna be without air conditioning. And so this isn't, I'm a great advocate to get those others. Actually, I've mentioned that multiple times, trying to get air conditioning in there. So anything we can do to speed that process up for those 3 schools, because 28, 29 is a long time from 24, 25.
Agreed.
And we did this in 21. Am I right? Again, I think it's 21, 22 school year, so I can't remember exactly when, but yeah, that's a long time.
Been a bit, yes, sir.
And anything we can do to, because I know those schools were built, what?
1950.
No, this is Bennett Bonley.
Yeah.
Bennett Bonley, the schools were built a new school. in-
1950.
Yeah, but the schools were built, and actually the county and school boards were promising new gyms at those 3 locations. And I can tell you exactly, I won't tell you how old my daughter is, but she's in her 30s. And she was first kindergarten class. So it's been over 30 years that we've promised those communities gymnasiums. So I'll make the motion that we move that the Chatham County Board of Education approve the American Rescue Plan Act contract as presented. I'll get off my soapbox after that.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Anything we can do on those other 3.
Just a quick question. Is one of the reasons why they're not chosen because we're thinking of building the new
We're not
ones?
thinking, we've already voted to. We're just waiting on money to do it. Am I correct?
Yeah,
Been approved, the funding is.
That's
gone.
it.
Wouldn't make sense to put air.
And of course, they're getting moved back again, so they've been moved back multiple times, so yeah.
Why?
Well, and Mr. Leonard, I think it helps our case that when the commissioners contacted us, that they had some extra money. It didn't take too long to figure out how to spend it.
No.
did it? Y'all were shovel ready, I guess.
We have this project in place, we're ready to go. Mrs. Turner, in answer to your question, the county has to sometimes move projects around due to their borrowing schedule, and they try to align things so that when they are borrowing money, they can do a number of projects at one time. So that rests with them.
Just please let them know that we have 3 gyms that'll be on air conditioning for another 5 years or 4 years or whatever. And hopefully we can do something in the process.
Maybe to piggyback on this, and I'm just throwing this out, that, our surrounding counties tend to get bond referendums approved fairly frequently. So if that would speed the process up, maybe.
If I may, the reason that it was moved back was because they tried to borrow so you get the best interest and the best use of the money, the best rating. And so it was just a matter of trying to, you don't want to go 1 year and get for a very small lending, then go get another one, and then go get another one. You try to bundle these projects together. Initially, these projects were bundled with the new elementary school. And because that has kind of been pushed back a little bit, we tried to tie it. They may have to be decoupled. That's kind of a conversation we have had. But the event, if you remember, it was supposed to go ahead and move forward, I believe, this coming school year, and we had to move it back one time. I think that's the only time it's
That's the
been
only time I know of, yeah.
yeah, and the idea was to try to do them all at one time because of the ability to borrow and to get the money at a good rate that would be beneficial to the county. So some of that had to do with when it would be most advantageous for the county to borrow the money, not necessarily that they want to leave us in the heat. They want to do that.
No, I understand that. I'm just saying, we're going,
sir.
we're going to fix these, so we need to fix the others, do something there. And I think if my memory's, and it might not, my memory's not that great anyway sometimes. I want to think those gyms would have been built this year initially. It's either this year or next year one.
They would have started.
Originally in 21. I'm pretty sure it was either this year they were supposed to be complete. I was thinking it was this year, but I'm not sure on that. I did some research on the other, but I didn't look back on that.
But they're more than beyond the time to make this happen. And so we pushed it and pushed this up forward. If you remember, it had been on the, on the list, future projects forever. And we got this moved on the funded project. So it is a funded project. It's just a matter of when the borrowing will happen.
That's the scary part, when it's going to get funded.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
See, that's the part that worries me, because that's my area, I'll hear it, and I don't blame them for hearing it too. They should, we need to do something in that, so.
Understood.
So we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor with an aye? Aye. Any opposed, like sign? Thank you. All right, so I'll see Parks and Recreation Memorandum of Agreement for use of Jordan Matthews Athletic Fields. Mr. Blyce.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Superintendent Jackson, this item will formalize a very long-standing relationship between Jordan Matthews High School and the Siler City Parks and Rec. They use our fields, but we in turn, Jordan Matthews High School used the soccer fields located over at the Paul Braxton campus. So definitely in our best interest to get this formalized and get this in place. And the MOU does include both of those uses.
And this won't and I know they've been doing this for years and used to, and I don't know if they still do, shared gyms that the city owned too, as far as practice time or whatever. But as far as for our other MOUs that we have with like the American Legion and softball, baseball, softball, this is still, JM will work through that with them too, so we're good. Go ahead.
I move that the Chatham County Board of Education approve the Siler City Parks and Recreation Memorandum of Agreement as presented.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion, any questions? All in favor with an aye? Aye. Any opposed, like sign? Thank you, Mr. Blyce.
Thank you, sir.
Next Board of Education meeting is Monday, January the 13th, 2025 at 5:30. And then the following day is our retreat, full-day retreat there. Okay. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Got a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a second? All in favor with an aye? Aye. Any opposed, like sign? Thank y'all very much.
7 o'clock yet. It is 3 minutes prior to 7.